If you made some Oreo cupcakes by my last video, don't eat all the Oreos yet, because now we're going to use some more of those cookies to make delicious Oreo buttercream frosting. Now, of course, for buttercream frosting, you need butter and cream and some powdered sugar plus vanilla. But of course, the star of the show are the Oreos. And we're going to start with those and get them all nice and crushed up. I use my food processor for this. Because it's frosting, you really need to get this very finely crunched up. I start with pulsing, and then I'll run this a little bit more steadily to get all the pieces broken into a nice fine crumb. I can tell you from experience that when you do this in a plastic Ziploc bag with a rolling pin, it's doable, and you can certainly frost with that, but you're probably not going to be able to use a piping bag and a piping tip, because what happens is any piece, and I'm telling you, any piece that's slightly larger is going to clog that piping tip. So if you have access to a food processor for this step, I definitely encourage you to use that, because that's the tool that's going to get you the results you really, really want for this frosting. I'll take off the top here, and you can take a look at these crumbs. And you know, when you take a look at, yep, there's still some chunks in there, so I need to give it another spin. And like I say, it really does take a little bit to get these to that nice fine crumb you need them to be for this frosting. But once you have it there, then you're ready to start actually mixing your frosting. And I'm starting with 8 ounces of butter. And first I always basically just cream the butter. Get that nice and smooth. This butter is at room temperature, so it's ready to go. But then I start adding the powdered sugar. I like to add it about a cup at a time. And mix it all the way in, then add another cup and repeat, mix it all the way in again. It's just a really good way to get this very thoroughly mixed the way you want it to be. And then after a couple of cups, I will start adding in liquid. I add all of the vanilla and a couple tablespoons of the whipping cream with the next cup of the powdered sugar, and start adding that in. And this is something you just repeat. Powdered sugar, a little more whipping cream, powdered sugar. Just keep doing that until you have, it's basically about 5 or 6 cups of powdered sugar, and enough whipping cream to make this the right texture, which means it's got to be smooth, it's got to be pipeable, it's got to be also a little bit on the wet side, because once you add in these Oreo crumbs, you have to think about that's another dry ingredient you're introducing. So make it a little bit more wet or loose than possibly a typical buttercream. But as you can see, then I just fold in these crumbs, and I have beautiful, lovely buttercream frosting just ready to pipe onto my cupcakes. I am piping this using a 1M tip. That's my favorite for making these lovely swirly looking cupcakes. But of course, as I said, you can do this any way you like. I've definitely frosted my share of cupcakes without a piping bag and without a piping tip. You just use a knife. But whatever you do, make sure that you are A, putting enough frosting on, and B, I absolutely love, if you still have any cookies left, I love to use half pieces of cookie to do that final decorating piece on each of the cupcakes. Also, those mini Oreos work really well as a decorative touch here as well. But whatever you do, Whatever kind of cupcake you choose to decorate with this frosting, I hope you try it because I know that you will love it. Enjoy.